If I asked you precisely where your land is, could you tell me? Most land does not have a numeric street address. So could you find it on GPS, or is there a chance you might drive past it without knowing? And don't worry, this is a way more common issue than you might think. And the good news is that you can find your property online in just a couple minutes for free without ever leaving your home. And that's what we're going to talk about coming up. Step one is to find a copy of your most recent tax bill. So if you have a paper copy that the county had mailed you most recently, the good news is you've already completed this step and you can move on to step two. But for the rest of us, if you threw the tax bill in the trash can a couple days after you received it in the mail, then we got to go search for it. But the good news for us is that Google makes that very easy. So I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. So you go to google.com and you go into the search menu and you want to identify the county and state in which your property is located. In this case, we're going to run this example against a property that the company owns in Person County, North Carolina. So we're going to hit enter here. We have a Google results page, and what we're going to look for is the result that indicates the tax bill lookup. So we're going to say search and pay taxes. This is exactly where we want to be. So to search/pay taxes with a credit debit card, this is where we're going to want to go, because if I want to find a tax bill, then I want to go search for it first. Okay, now we're on the tax bill lookup page. And in this case, I know the name of the LLC that's the owner of the property. So that's what I'm going to type in here, is the LLC that is the owner of the property. Now that I've completed that search, I see a record number, and I'm going to click that record number. I want to make note of a couple pieces of information. One is the parcel number here. The other is the name, the owner name that the county has in their system. So the parcel number is going to be the key to the next step, which is going to be to look up the parcel number on the county mapping system. Step two is to locate the property in the county GIS mapping system. So two quick notes. Number one is, even though that your county may be different than the one that I'm showing, I mean, there's over 3,000 different counties and parishes across the country. The basic process that I'm showing you is going to work everywhere. So the second note is GIS stands for Geographic Information System. It's just an acronym for a mapping tool, a mapping system that we're going to look at in just a sec that the county maintains. So again, we're in Person County, North Carolina, and I've entered in the search term. I'm going to hit enter. The first result is the tax parcel viewer, and that's what I'm going to click. As the page loads, you'll see a map of Person County. The next step is going to be to locate the property using the search bar. And all that we're going to do is click into the search bar and enter in the parcel ID that we found from the tax card, from the tax bill. Once you have the tax ID entered into the search bar, hit enter. So the next step is to access the satellite imagery of the county mapping system. And the way that you typically do that is you see this sort of like, looks almost like books stacked on top of each other. Well, that is what's called the layer list. The layer list is essentially a cross section of any number of different pieces of property information that you can toggle on or off with the mapping system. And so in this case, I'm going to scroll down and I'll take note that we have different aerial photos of different years of this property. So I'm going to click 2023 because it's the most recent. Now, when I click that, all of a sudden the screen looks a little bit different and the property's there in the middle. But what I want to show you is if you zoom out, you can actually see even a little bit more context. So the reason that this beige slice of mapping information is not showing up is because that's the state of Virginia. And so that's the county line and the state line. So that's why it's not loading. So that's it. Now the last step is for you to use the mapping layers to really take a look at the property and evaluate the surrounding area. You also have an ability to zoom out and zoom in. And then if you click and hold, you can drag your screen in different directions. If I click the layered list, it'll hide the layer list. And so I can actually drag my cursor along the screen and click and see information about adjacent properties, the owner name, assessed value, when it was last sold. And then I can even click and see if there's any well or septic permits. And I can click the tax card of any other property, which is kind of neat. So if I wanted to locate my property using GPS, I mean, you have a number of nearby neighboring addresses that you could key in. So the layer tools, some highlights are the county soil map, a series of all the different types of soil that the county environmental health has mapped over the years. Rivers, lakes, and ponds. So you can see, in cases where there's water features or creeks or rivers, streams, lakes, or ponds, and they'll actually map it for you here. So if I were to toggle that off, you can see that that changes the map. Also, elevation is, you can see if you zoom in a little bit more, these are contour lines, so 2-foot increments. Essentially, the numbers that you see are the number of feet above sea level. Closer the lines are together, the steeper that part of the land is, and that's mapped across the entire country, actually, not just this county. And go back in time. So this was actually an older satellite image from that time. The last thing that I'll share, I can collapse this list. And a lot of counties have what's called a measuring tool. So for example, if I wanted to measure out the size of this property, I could go like this. I'm clicking at every corner and it's showing me that it's about 1.02 acres. What I could also do is see, okay, how many feet away from the main road is this property? So I could just go like this and I could say, hey, you just turn right onto that street and it's 250 feet up on your left. So I hope that this video helps to illuminate some of the easy ways that you can locate your property on the internet. And I hope you also have fun just playing around with this mapping system, because the county makes it available for free for a reason. And it's actually really cool when you get in there and you figure out how to use it. There's a lot of information that you can find out.